Hello everyone, this is Dave from Dave's Wreaths and Things. What day is it today? It is day number 5 of our Wreathster week. 7 days, 7 wreaths, plus that bonus wreath right at the very end, so don't forget to check out that episode. We are celebrating Easter this week with chocolates and eggs and Easter bunnies, and of course, all that beautiful color that comes along with Easter decorations, those spring colors, pastels, purples, greens, yellows, blues. Love it all. It's so bright, it's so colorful, it always makes us smile. Why don't I just get started and I'll show you what I came up with for day number 5. Starting off day 5, we're using a 14-inch wire wreath frame, some spray paint. This is just white spray paint. I found these orange and white checkered and green and white checkered ribbon at the Dollar Tree, along with a cable tie, pipe cleaner, and some greenery from the dollar store as well. And I'm going to be using my usual crafting utensils. I'm going to start off today by spray painting my black wire frame and making it white. So this is just a white spray paint from Rust-Oleum. Here it is in all its glory and change of color. And all I'm going to do for this is I'm going to do a little weaving technique. So I'm going to unravel that orange ribbon, add a little glue down right at the end, fold it over onto itself, hold it there for a little bit until it dries, and then I'm going to start weaving. So how I'm going to weave today is I'm just going to do 1 over, 1 under, and 1 over. So that is the ribbon. The ribbon will go over the wire, then the ribbon will go under the wire like you see here, and then once I pull all that excess through, I am going to go under the wire. So it's over, under, over, under. That is the whole method and the whole process that I'm going to do this. I found that once I took off the ribbon from the spool, I mean, it's a lot easier because trying to fit that spool into that little space, it's kind of cramped. But you can see here when you come back, I still do that over, under method. And then at the very bottom, I bring that ribbon right through and then I start my process all over again with that over, and under. And it is a little bit tedious with the length of ribbon, but you know what? As soon as you start going, you get your groove on, you can see it does go pretty fast. Now for me, the whole wreath took probably, I would say less than 40 minutes. I have about 40 minutes of video, so it took me about 40 minutes or thereabout. And you can see here, once the ribbon is a little bit shorter, you get your groove on, and then you just start weaving and weaving until you come to the very end. I'm almost done my weaves, and you can see how this wreath turned out with our little ribbon here. I'm just doing my last little bit. I'm just squishing it all together, looking it around, thinking, yep, this is going to work for me. I'm going to cut off that excess, glue down that little tab there, and let's flip that wreath over and take a look at it. Look at that weaved wreath. I just love it. So I do want to have a bit of a carrot theme. That's where we're going with this wreath, but I don't want a literal carrot. So I wanted that green and white checkered to be a little bit of a ribbon mixed with the greenery. And all I'm doing to make my bow is I'm just estimating. So there's no measurements here. I'm just gathering it in loops, holding it with my left hand, folding it into loops with my right hand until I get the desired lengths that I want. So I use the entire roll for this section here. I have 2 tails. I'm going to tie it together using a cable tie, make sure it's in the center, and then I'm going to cut some tails here. Now again, I'm not measuring, I'm just estimating. I know I want to do a lot of tails for this. So what I'll do is I'll just put them together, fold it over, and then feed it through the cable tie. And then we have our abundance of tails. And I felt when I turned it over that it needed a little bit something more. So what I decided to do with the second roll of that green and white fabric is to create another little bow. And again, I'm just doing the same thing I did with the first one, eyeballing it. I didn't really measure anything. This is a little bit smaller than the one I did previously. Tying it with that cable tie, finding the center, attaching it, and then cutting off the excess. And then I'm going to cable tie the small bow onto the large bow. And this is going to make one big messy bow, that was the look that I was going for. I didn't want a perfect bow. I wanted something a little bit messy. And then to cover those cable ties, I'm just going to take a little bit of that same ribbon, add a little glue down, and I'm going to cover up that cable tie with everything glued at the back side of that ribbon. And I'm just gluing it on, holding it into place until it dries. Once that happens, then I have my bow almost ready for our wreath. So you can kind of see it's a raggedy bow. It's not perfect. The lengths are not measured, and that's exactly what I wanted. Here is our wreath. Here's our bow and our greenery. And like I said, I was going for kind of a carrot feel to it. I didn't want a literal carrot, but I also didn't know where I was going to put the bow, where I was going to put the greenery. So I always say, and I always talk about doing what I call a dry run. Don't glue anything down, just do a dry run, see how you like it. Once you find a spot where you like everything, then glue it down, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. I decided to use the bottom portion for the bow and the greenery, and that's what I did. And of course, I use my bow and greenery to just kind of see the placement of everything. Once I'm happy, then I'm going to add a whole bunch of glue to that bow, stick it on that wreath, hold it down for a little bit, make sure it dries, and then I'm going to come back and add all that greenery as well. So again, this is kind of my take on a little bit of a carrot wreath. It's a little bit different. It's round instead of that triangle, but I just love how it turned out. It totally makes me smile, and of course, it is Easter, because what do Easter bunnies eat? Carrots. Here we go. And what I did at the very end is I decided just to cut my bows on an angle. Normally I cut bows using the dovetail, but I figured on an angle would be perfect. And here is my carrot-inspired wreath, woven ribbon with that greenery and that messy bow hanging on my door with those long tails, and I just love it. Again, this is 7 days, 7 wreaths. For our Wreathster week, don't forget to hit that playlist right down below. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had so much fun, and I hope you had a lot of fun as well. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye for now.